My phone.
It's fine. We can just take it to GameStop and they'll give you $5 for it.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I am Ramsey Ray.
I'm Kara.
And this is our podcast called Excuse Me. This is the very first episode, and today we are going to tell our ghost stories.
Some of our ghost stories.
We have a lot.
We limited them just for the sake of you guys.
For the sake of an hour-long podcast versus 24 hours. Would you like to start?
No.
Okay. My first story was from when I was like in middle school. I think I was in 7th grade. We met in 8th grade. Are there police officers behind us?
Oh my god, there totally is. What's happening?
I don't know. So there's an ambulance and a fire truck at the laundromat across the street from our apartment. So ignore the bright flashing red lights behind us.
It's not something that we did.
It's not us.
We're innocent.
There's not even police. We're okay.
There's not even police. That's weird.
No, before we also get murdered. The first story is when I was in like 7th grade, and Kara and I met in 8th grade. Well, we met before that, but we became friends in 8th grade. And so in 7th grade, I was friends with like a whole different group of people, and I had two people spending the night at my house, and it was Jade and Chevelle. And this wasn't like my dad's house.
I remember.
She was a treat.
She was interesting.
Yeah. But my dad has had the same house the entire time I've been alive. But when my parents divorced, my mom got airport house and then the Morningside house. And the house is later, but the Morningside house is where this takes place. And the Morningside house always gave me the freaking creeps. And my mom didn't tell me till like afterwards, but it gave her the creeps too. And I only stayed every other weekend and every Wednesday. And so I didn't experience as much of it as she did. But she would tell me these stories later, and I was like, Mom, we should have left a lot faster. But it was like a normal house on the first floor when you went in, but when you got to the stairs, and went upstairs, and Kara's room at her dad's house the same way, where it's just one long room upstairs.
Just completely connected.
Yeah, just one
More
really
like
long
an
room.
attic, but it was made into a bedroom.
Yeah, that's what my bedroom was, except mine was complete wood, so it was so hot. Even in the winter, it was so hot. And in the summer, I was never in my room because it was really hot. But as you can imagine, that's a ton of space. And I had a bed, like right here, and then further down the room, I had a sitting area type thing, which was like a little love seat. I had one of those cool circle chairs, and I had a beanbag chair, and then a little like thing to put a TV on, and then like one of those tiny box TVs that like if a kid saw nowadays, they would probably laugh and then throw it.
We didn't have beanbag chairs at my mom's house because our cat Tutu was allergic to the beads that are inside of it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We have one
Can
when
you
we
be
were
allergic to that?
I guess. We had one when we were younger. We had to get rid of it because she got like super sick. And the vet was like, yeah, this is why. And you're like, oh, fuck. And then we throw out our beanbag.
I used to have to get rid of the cat.
True.
This beanbag chair is more important to me. But I was sitting on the love seat because I'm a lover. And then Jade was sitting she was sitting on the beanbag chair and Chanel was sitting in the circular chair. And mind you, I'm already overdramatic. So at this point in my life, I'm the most overdramatic hoe in the world. And whereas I would freak out about this now, I would not react the way I did. But we're sitting there, and I think the TV's on, but it's on like mute. And we're just talking, having a conversation. And all of a sudden, like out of the corner of my eye, I see it, but the other two are kind of like facing my bed. But my mattress just swings like completely off the bed frame, just completely off, like onto the floor. It's not like it slid or anything, it just like swung across the room. And we both kind of sat there for a second, and then my dramatic ass went, run. And we both, all three of us just sprinted down the stairs and like out the door, and then we came out and my mom was just standing there. She like looked so like shocked because she has had 3 teenagers sprint towards her and like a freaking herd, and we all were just like, we just want to watch TV on the couch, we're gonna sleep on the couch is our friend. And then we slept on the couch that night, and I never wanted to go back up there again, but I had to because it's my room. And I was really glad when we moved. It was horrible. There's also an office in that house that had such terrible vibes. My mom would always tell me about like the stuff that happened there. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like something that's not a demon.
I don't know which one I'm going to tell first.
I just go in order of the list.
Okay, well, my first story is from the house that my mom and stepdad are currently living in. We moved into it when I was in like 7th grade.
It was before I met you. Or
Yeah,
became friends with you.
middle of 6th grade, 7th grade, somewhere around there. And about 8th grade, we started experiencing weird stuff in the house. But the main thing that we had was we called it a ghost cat, but it wasn't a cat. Acted like a cat. The first like experience with it was my little sister said that there was a cat that would stand up on its back legs in her room and it had yellow eyes and would stare at her, and we were like, oh, that's terrifying.
I think I'd actually shit my pants as an adult if I dreamt that.
Oh, it was so bad. Just like asking her about it. She said it like it was like completely casual, and we were like,
She said that happens every night.
But one of the main things that happened a lot was we had cats in our house. We had our cat Tutu and our cat Snoopy, and we would hear like the cat like running up and down the basement steps, like back and forth, and we were like, oh, maybe it's Chichu, because like even though she's an old ass cat, she still thinks she's a kitten. But they would both be sleeping on the couch next to me, or one would be sleeping by my mom, or like one of them would be like sitting in the middle of the living room floor, and then we'd be like, what the fuck is running up and down her steps?
It was me. I broke into your house.
Oh. But my account with the ghost cat was my room was in the basement. Well, it technically wasn't a room because it didn't have any windows or anything. So when you shut the door, it just got completely dark. My stepdad called it the Bat Cave because you could literally just sleep in there all day and you would never know what time it was because there was no windows. And I would always shut the cats out of my room because I like to close my door. And I would like wave them out, and then I'd shut my door and I'd lay down. And I laid down and turned off my light and everything, and I was getting all comfy, and I felt a cat lay down on my bed. And I thought it was like my cat Snoopy, and I was like, oh dang, he must got locked in my room, I'll have to get him out. And so I like turned on my lamp on my nightstand and looked over, and there was no cat, but there was like an impression in my freaking
Bed
sheets, yeah, of a cat laying there, and I was like, that's terrifying. And then the other thing that happened was my brother would sleep with his door cracked, and a lot of times our cats would go and would sleep with them and stuff, and he said he was laying in bed and he felt a cat walk up his stomach and up his chest, and it was like purring and stuff, but there was no cat there, but he could feel it walking on him. And that was all of our experiences with the ghost cat, but that fucker freaked us all out.
That sounds horrifying.
Oh my god, no. It was just like
imagine something crawling on you, but you're like, oh, there's nothing actually there.
No, because he was purring, and like I thought it was like Choo-Choo, and I went to go pet it, and there's nothing there.
No.
It's like, oh.
I could never die than experience that.
Oh, fuck.
My next story actually kind of reminds me of Parker's story.
Oh.
I kind of did my family. What Parker did you guys? Because, okay, there was a while in my house where, before my parents divorced, my dad would sleep on the couch, and I think my mom would sleep in our smallest bedroom. That's, like, technically the nursery. I don't know. But I slept on the floor on, like, a mattress in my sister's room because she had, like, the master bedroom, and she slept in, like, her bed. And I would sleep on the floor, and in that room, I would go to sleep, and then, like, every night I would wake up at, like, 3 a.m. or 3:03 or, like, sometime around 3 a.m. And I would look, and there'd be, like, a man standing there. And I always assumed these were dreams. But it was, like, creepy, and I woke up. So I was like, maybe it is a dream, maybe I'm actually seeing it. I don't know, I'm a little kid, so I don't really care. He's not hurting me. He's not, like, offering me candy and trying to put me in his van, so it's not really my problem.
I'd be a little concerned if he was trying to offer you candy, putting you in your van at 3 in the morning in your own room.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't caring, because he wasn't doing that. There's nothing to be concerned about in my mind, because I can't remember how old I was, but I was young. And I was tired, and I really liked sleep, so just leave me alone. And he would always just stay in the same place down by, we had like a cold room, is what we called it, but it was like in that room there's a closet, and then there's another door for like a little storage area, and it's always freezing no matter what time of year. Which, now that I say that, I should probably be more concerned about, because I've never like said that out loud and really thought about it. But we called it the cold room. I can't believe I never realized that before. And he would just like stand right by that door. And I remember the first time I told my dad about it. We were outside in the backyard, and Cal or Allie was walking around. That's our dog, one of our old Danes. And my dad was barbecuing, and I told him about this, and he looked at me and he was like, what? And he was like so concerned. And I was like, oh yeah. And then he was like, Ramsey, do you hear or see anything right now? And I know now he's trying to see if I was insane, which I get. But I still don't know. It just still feels so real to that day that he was there. I still don't know if it happened in my sleep or what. But a few years after that happened, my parents have divorced, my mom moved out, and it's something I still experience to this day sometimes is sleep paralysis. And whatever, it's awful. Usually when I have sleep paralysis, there's like a man standing over me, which is creepy because it's kind of like what happened to me when I was little. But most of the time it's just like some like silhouette. But every so often I think I get sleep paralysis maybe 2 or 3 times a month. And I'd say once every other month, the man standing over me is the same man that I saw when I was a little kid. And I don't know if that's my brain being like, you saw this, you didn't like it, it scared you, let's have you hallucinate it. Or if it's that guy being like, hey, just checking up on you. Just want to see
I just want to see if you were okay.
Yeah. I go to your mom's house sometimes, it's really cool there. But yeah, so that's, I don't even know if that's actually paranormal. It's kind of more like just a creepy story, but I can't believe I never made that connection with the cold room. We've called it the cold room since I was born.
Well, yeah, that just reminds me of my mom's closet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too. I think I just had to say it out loud.
I don't really know if this would be, I'm not going to consider this a story, I'm just going to add it in. At my house, before, we had like a bunch of paranormal experiences, and then my Uncle Sean went through and said blessing in the house, and like my mom stages all the time and stuff, so now the house is all nice and clear. But for a while, my mom's closet, when you would go in it, you would walk in and it would be freezing. No matter what time of year it was, it didn't matter. It would just be freezing, and you would walk in and immediately it was like you were hit by like a brick wall of ice. Like it was so cold. And then my Aunt Ann and my Uncle Red came up from Oklahoma to visit, and my Aunt Ann said that the reason why the closet was so cold is because it was a portal, and it was how like things were coming into our house.
I remember one time when I came over, you had me feel it. Like, it was one of the first times I ever come near your house, and like when you put your hand under the door, like, and outside, no cold air like seeped out.
And if it was like regular cold air, you would feel the cold air coming out from underneath the door.
Yeah.
But you couldn't feel the cold air underneath the door or anything. And then once you open up the door, you open the door, put your hand in, and once your hand like crossed like the barrier, you was just freezing. And that was,
I never like going to your house after that.
that was terrifying.
Welcome over. You're gonna spend the night. It was a portal to hell. Good night. Also, my room has no windows.
Oh
Good
yeah.
Night.
Also,
and a giant door that's a mirror. Was that in your old room? Or is that your new room?
That was after my brother went to college and I moved in the other room. So, but that one was terrifying too. I could never sleep with my face facing the mirrors, because my closet doors were mirrors. I could never sleep facing that because I was always afraid if I woke up I would just see something in the mirror like standing behind me.
I don't hate that.
Ain't about that.
So you had a portal to hell in your house?
Well, that also, it's one of my other stories. When my Aunt Ann came to visit, in my family, weird experiences with like spirits and everything, it just runs in my family. It's a thing that everyone experiences from like my mom's side, like on to like my mom's side. It's just a thing. So my Aunt Ann came up, and she's my grandma Sherry's sister. She had never met my little sister before. My little sister is the one that had the most experiences with all the ghosts and everything in our house, and would see the most stuff in our house, which was terrifying because sometimes I'd babysit her at night, and she would be like, and then just come sit by me, and I'd be like, what'd you see? And she'd be like, I just want to watch TV. And I'm like, okay.
Like, it's probably good she didn't tell you what she saw, though.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I saw a demon that said you want to eat my soul.
My little sister went into great detail telling her about there was these 3 angels that she was seeing, that she saw, and they all were holding their hands out like this, and like each angel had something in their hand. Like one was holding a rose, one was holding something else, but one of the angels was headless and was holding its head like in its hands. And
Parker dreamed this.
Parker like dreamed this, and then my Aunt Ann flipped out, and we were like, "What? Why are you freaking out?" My Aunt was like, "At my house, I have 3 angels, and one of their heads fell off because I knocked it off of my end table, and it like the head broke off, and I haven't had time to glue it back on. And keep in mind, my little sister has never been to my aunt's house. None of us have been to her house.
Where does she live again?
In Oklahoma.
She lives in Oklahoma. We live in Iowa / Nebraska, so.
Yeah, so that was, my Aunt Ann was like, I don't know if I want to talk to her anymore because
she's horrifying.
She probably knows what my whole entire house looks like.
That would be terrifying if Parker just like started having a conversation like, oh, I had this dream of like this super ugly house, and she starts talking about your aunt's house, and she's like, oh, you bitch,
my house is not ugly.
You're ugly. I'm not talking to you anymore.
Oh. I hope my aunt went to my 7-year-old sister that she's ugly.
Wasn't she like 5 at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would have been even worse.
4 or 5, yeah.
You fucking 5-year-old, you piece of shit. My next story is actually something that happened in the apartment that we're sitting in right now. Once we move, I'm gonna do a whole story time about it. Kira's probably gonna do a whole story time about it. We'll link that at that whenever that happens. It'll be like in June.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of stuff happen here.
We're getting the fuck out of here.
A lot of it targeted the two of us, so that helps. I think it's so funny because Kira's another story she's gonna tell that happened to her mom. And a little bit before this happened, Kira told me that story. And I was like, oh my god, I'd rather die than have that happen. Like, I remember she told me the story. I was being dramatic. I was grabbing things. I was horrified. And then this happened to me. It's very similar. And as I said, I'd rather die than have that happen. I still feel the same way. I would rather die than walk in the list. But I can't remember. I was with my boyfriend, Cody, which we'll link to our own channels. He's on my channel all the time. And I don't know.
Cody good on the channel?
No. He should make a prank channel for me, though. Go to my channel. I'm going to post a video where we prank Cody. But I was with Cody, and I can't remember. I think I picked him up from work, and, like, we went and grabbed food from, like, McDonald's or something. Because we were holding drinks when we came in. It wasn't Runza drinks, so that looks really wrong. But we're opening the door. I opened the door because I unlocked it because I have the keys because I'm the one that drives. And I open it, and I walk in, and I kind of just stop. And Cody, like, peeks his head in, like, oh, what you looking at? And he just stops, and I remember, I still feel so bad, because he almost started crying. But what we walked in on was every single cabinet in our home was open. Every single kitchen cabinet, the low ones, the tall ones, the low ones. I think the fridge was open, I'm not sure. I hope it wasn't. Both these doors right here are open, which you can't see that, but it's behind where the camera is, and there's 2 doors, and at the time, and even now, there's this big old table, this like a big metal table.
It's heavy as shit.
It's heavy, it has wheels, but the wheels were locked, and it's a metal Under Armour table, and it's pressed against one of the doors. That was moved to the side and open, and then all 3 of the doors to both of our bedrooms and the bathroom were shut, actually. I remember very well that we always leave the bathroom door open, everyone in our apartment, unless someone's in there. And then me and Cody always left our doors open.
We pretty much leave our door open all the time, too.
Well,
unless we're sleeping.
They have the cats. So I know their door is open because it was during the day, and the cats need to get in and out for litter and stuff, and they get crazy if you just lock them in there. But both the cats were in the bedroom, the door's closed. And I think I had been the last one home that day. Because I was home, and then I went and got Cody.
Because I was at work.
Yeah, because you left work like a little before I went to get Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I remember how everything was before I left, and then we walked in, and it was that, and it was terrifying, and I would have rather died. And we still have a million pictures, and I'll insert some of the pictures right here for those of you watching on YouTube. Just bam.
Bam.
Okay, I'll put them over Kira's face.
Oh, bye.
Okay, I hate that story. I hate it.
Well, talking about the story that she's talking about, where she would hate it,
what I think inspired the ghost in our apartment.
So when I was born, my mom and dad lived in there was this house, that was right next to where my dad worked, so he could just literally just like walk to work every day.
Side note, we live in Omaha now, but we used to live in Sioux City, Iowa, so almost all these stories take place in Sioux City, Iowa.
Mm-hmm. And so this house that they moved into, it was this older lady was trying to like get out of it. She was trying to move into like an older folks home, or like saying when her daughter, a sibling, that's not a sibling, one of her kids. But what happened was her and her husband had, I can't remember if they built the house or if they just moved into the house, but they had bought the house, and the front bedroom. This house is on like a super busy street. Like cars drive on it like every day. Like it's crazy busy. Like during like the 5 o'clock when everyone gets off, and like in the morning when everyone's going to work.
It was like the main street for that part of town.
Mm-hmm. And so their bedroom is like one of like, it was like a porch, and then the bedroom's like one of the front parts of the bedroom. And her husband had been sleeping one day, and it was when they were older, and a semi crashed through the house.
It was your dad's house that happened?
Not my dad's house.
Oh, the original.
The house we lived in before my dad's house. And a semi went through the front of the house and killed her husband. And then we moved in the house after she was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And my mom.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in the house that Cody got driven into.
Yeah,
I feel like I wouldn't be able to go in that room anymore without being like,
I know.
Is there gonna be a car?
Well, and then honestly though, I'd be like constantly for someone just driving through my house after that.
I feel like I wouldn't in any house after that though.
Yeah.
If I ever remarried, we could not allow us to be on the ground floor, so anytime.
But and then so we moved in that house, and so I was like one and a half. I was like a baby when this happened. And when we lived in the house, a lot of times my brother would be like, at night he would like tell my mom, he'd be like, I want to sleep with Kira because Kira makes me feel safe, which I always thought was so freaking weird. But my mom was like, okay, and I was like 1 in my crib, and I don't know how I was supposed to keep him safe, but apparently I had like a switchblade under my pillow or
I
some
could throw
shit.
her on Twitter.
But one day my mom was at home, and she left the room or whatever, and she was off. I don't even know what she was doing, but she walked in the kitchen, and every single cupboard was open, and all of the pots and pans and everything was on the floor in the kitchen. And she was like, what the fuck?
Like,
she
imagine
had literally
just walking in your kitchen after going to the bathroom for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, she had literally just been in the kitchen too, and she left and came back, and everything was on the floor, and all the cupboards were open and everything, and she was like,
I would burn the house down. I would just immediately just burn the house down.
Actually, they took the house down, and my Casey's is built there now.
Good! Fuck the house!
That guy's probably just in Casey's now, like in the bathroom. Ooh.
That would be an fun in Casey's. Podcast on the road, we're going to Casey's.
Oh.
I want to call it Casey's now. I'm like, is there a demon? I really want to. Next podcast, we call Casey's. We're going through these stories a lot faster than I thought we would. It's been 20 minutes of like actual. So we started at 9:30.
Oh.
Well, might be a short podcast, and that's okay. My next story is half of it is paranormal, and the other half is maybe paranormal. I don't know. I try to be skeptic to myself. But my dad is huge Christian conservative. Like, he gets every single, we have our stairs at my dad's house it's just covered with crosses. And every single morning, he gets on his knees and he prays. And then every single evening, he gets on his knees and he prays. Before every single meal, he sits like this and he prays. He's a very Christian man, very conservative. I couldn't wear hoop earrings until I was like a million years old.
But
I
you
have
wore
red
them
hair.
anywhere.
I did. When I left the house, I was like, okay, time to wear my hoop earrings. My hair, he doesn't like this at all. I was blonde for a little bit, and then he was like, I like the blonde the second I changed my hair color, but that's okay. But he doesn't believe in ghosts. He listens to a lot of theologists and priests on the radio. Instead of music, he listens to theologists and priests just talk about the Bible all the time. And he's constantly driving for what he does for a living. And this is what he listens to. I will never understand. But one of the things he hears is that he's heard and like read about in the Bible. He's also read the entire Bible multiple times. But it's that the Bible says that ghosts aren't real. It keeps going in and out. It says that ghosts aren't real,
and
but
when you wave your hands, it's like woo.
Ghosts aren't real, but the things that throw stuff. What are they called?
Poltergeist?
Poltergeists are. They say, okay, I can accept that poltergeists are real because the Bible says that they are. And I was like, okay.
But out of all the things, poltergeists aren't even like.
That's the most unbelievable.
That's like horror movie shit. Like demons come before poltergeists.
He believes demons do. Yes, Satan. But it takes a lot for him to think there's actually a demon there. But anyways, he doesn't believe in ghosts at all, and like he still won't really talk about this because it freaks him out. It doesn't sound like a lot. But when you're sitting there and it's literally making you like question your religion, and it's like in the home that you're living in, it's kind of creepy. But we're just sitting in the living room, and at this time, the living room was right here, our dining room was right here, and there was like a doorway, and our kitchen was right there. And we're sitting in the living room, and we're home alone, and Kenny, our cat, is sleeping on top of the couch, and the only dog we had at that time, back when we had one dog, the short amount of time we only ever had one dog, was Allie, and she's a Great Dane. She was laying next to me, and then me and Dad was sitting on the couch. We were watching like a murder mystery. That's like all we ever watched. And all of a sudden we hear like a small commotion from the kitchen, and my dad was like, "What the crap?" Like an old dude like he is. And he walked to the kitchen, and I kind of followed him. And our sink has like 2 handles you can pull, and they were both like put completely on high. And our house was built in 1909, I believe. 1909?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, 1909-ish.
All of the houses in Sioux City are old as shit.
Yeah. But our house was built in 1909, and these sinks have been replaced since then, but it's been a long time. Mm-hmm. And so those handles were like hard to move, and they're both put completely on high. And then my dad also has been diagnosed with OCD, and so everything has its place. And our kitchen rag goes in the middle of the sink, because there's like 2 basins, and it goes in the middle of the sink, and it was just sitting in exactly the middle of the floor, but like where the middle was pinched up, because like he has it folded. It was unfolded, completely open, and like the middle pulled up. And that was just weird. Like, that's not like horrifying, it's just weird. Mm-hmm. But it was creepy. And then we went back, sat down, and my dad was like, okay. Anyways. But after that happened, even before that, for me personally, I feel like our house always has been haunted. But after that happened, my dad was like much more aware of stuff that happened. And like my sisters were too, because they were like, oh, something happened to Dad, then holy crap. And then one night, like a week or 2 later, it was because we had moved our couch, our living room, to our dining room, and our dining room to our living room, like right after that happened. And the computer desk that was in our dining room was moved to where the couch was. And that's right by a huge bay window we have that goes onto our front porch. And the curtains were closed. It was like 1 a.m. because it was like summertime. My dad was playing music and in the kitchen and doing his thing. And then I was on the computer, of course. And I was a lot younger than I am now. I think it was like 8th grade, 9th grade and a half, and I think 8th grade though. And on the window, all of a sudden I hear 2 loud bangs. Mind you, our house is decent size, and I'm across the house from my dad. He's blaring music in the kitchen, and these 2 bangs are so loud that like he can hear them. And he's like deaf. He's not young. He's across the house deaf, blaring music, and he hears these bangs. And then all the animals in the house, not just Allie, but Kenny too, lose their minds. And Kenny's like the chillest cat ever, so him losing his mind is not normal. And I kind of just freeze for a second, because it's like, these bangs happen like right here to my head. So I just froze for a second, and after like a couple of seconds, I opened it, and there's like no one on the street or anywhere around. Which, someone could have ran away, but they would have had to gone a route that's incredibly difficult to get through, and like very few people know that it exists between our house and the neighbor's house, and our neighbors are a 70-year-old couples, like except a couple of people that are 70 years old. So I don't think it was them. Mm-hmm. And the way the fence on our porch is built, you have to like jump over it. And not only that, but like right after it happened, my dad got his gun, because he's that dad. And he got his gun, he was walking out around the house, being like, is there someone out here? I'll fucking kill you. And there's no one around, and it's like 2 a.m. And we both slept on the couch that night, because there's just an energy in there about it that was just so unfriendly and not normal. They were like, okay, slumber party. Such a good story.
Bravo.
I appreciate it, thank you. It was a really short applause, I think it deserves longer.
This is kind of a short story. I just remembered this one. My grandma Sherry told me about this one. I don't remember what house it was in or where it was in, because I've lived in a lot of houses in my life. But she was sitting on our couch, and then there was the coffee table, and she had her feet kicked up, and she was just sitting there and she watched TV, and her feet kind of moved a little bit more onto the coffee table, and then she was like, what the fuck? And then her feet moved a little bit more onto the coffee table, and then she realized that something was pushing the couch until it touched the coffee table, and then she was like sitting on the coffee table because it like shoved it at the end, and she's like, the fuck? And she's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And
if somebody can move a couch, that would make me be like, okay, I'm gonna die if I don't leave. I'm dead. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna die.
You're gonna die?
It's the end of my life. Also, my t-shirt's kind of creeping on you. Is this a bear? No. Okay, I thought it was a bear, and I was really excited. He's like, hi, I see you. His eyes keep being like just high enough to creep.
My shirt has a skull on it. I fixed that.
The little stories are good. They're making it take longer.
The little stories.
I have one more story. One more long story.
I have Well, I have one where, since it was in the back cave in my room, on one side of the room, since it's in the basement, 2 of the walls, like on the other side, are brick because it's a basement. And then on the other 2 sides, like the walls have like the studs that go like ever so many to like keep the house up. And I was sitting in my room, and we had, at one point in time, we had mice. I feel like everyone has mice at least at some point in time in their house.
Oh yeah. Kenny would kill our mice. When he lost his front claws, he would just bite them, I guess. He still killed them.
Our cats were lazy as fuck. They didn't even like try to kill the mice.
That's fine.
But I was
Kenny would bring them to Lainey as offerings. Some of them ended up in her bed, and she took her a while to find them.
But I was sitting in my room, and I was doing homework on my laptop and stuff, and this was like freshman or sophomore year of high school. And all of a sudden, because like you could hear like the mice run on our ceilings, because we had like in the basement we had like the drop down ceilings that you've seen a lot of like school buildings and stuff.
It's open in their basement down there, and I remember I was taking a shower once, and the mice just peeked out at me from the ceiling, and he was like, "Hey!" And I was like, "Oh my god!"
There was one morning I just watched one like run across the thing, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Her mom's house is also like borderline in the country, so it's
Borderline.
really to be expected.
It's like we live on like the dead end of a dead end. And then, no, because it's like our house, and then if you drive down the rest of the dirt road, there's like this really creepy barn, and we have no idea who lives there, but like,
We should go investigate it.
Oh god.
Like, hey, can we go in your house, bring cameras, and be obnoxious?
But I was sitting in my room, and I was doing homework and stuff, and all of a sudden I heard a mouse run all the way around my room.
You can't run through brick wall.
Exactly.
You can't run through brick wall. That's not a mouse. Okay. Argument here. Or not argument. Idea here. What if mice had a ghost? What if everything had a ghost?
I believe it. Everything has energy.
Like mosquitoes. There are millions upon millions of mosquitoes alive in Omaha right now.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you think about it,
mosquito ghosts.
Well, it's more like, well, I mean, there probably would be a lot of mosquito ghosts. A lot of times the reason why, like, spirits and stuff stick around is because they have, like, unfinished business.
Unfinished blood, bitch.
Or they were killed, like, wrongly. I was gonna say that's probably why there's a lot of mosquito ghosts, because people are like, fuck you.
I feel like with things like animals and insects, I feel like they're not ghosts. I think what happens is they completely 100% of the time go to a new body.
So I mean, a lot of times, like with animals, they pretty much like they pass on and like it's like the end of their life.
Or that they go like nirvana. I wonder if there is ghost mice though. That would make you feel better about that. Because usually the old theory is that the only thing that can appear as an animal is demons, like the ghost cat.
Like the ghost cat.
Demon cat. I refer to it as demon cat. But yeah,
we call it the ghost cat to keep it a little bit more lively since middle sister's 7.
Yeah. But like demon mouse. Why would you be a mouse if you were a demon? If I were that demon, I would have been fucking human footsteps around that wall. To the brick wall. I'm a human going through a brick wall, bitch. Fucking mouse. I'm gonna get murdered. I'm gonna be killed by a
fucking
demon.
mouse.
Hi, I'm Shane from Must Be Unsolved. I like talking shit to demons. Well, now after your stories about demons, I have stories about angels. A little more happy stories. I have 2 of them. One of them is mine, and one of them is not mine. But the first one, my Aunt Barbara, she passed away like 2 weeks after her 25th birthday. But she wasn't supposed to live past like age 4 because she was adopted into my family. She had shaken baby syndrome from her mother, but from her birth mother. When my family adopted her, she was my aunt, and I loved her to death. And so she was never supposed to live past age 4. Like I said, she died 2 weeks after her 25th birthday. She graduated high school. She graduated college. She had her own job. Most of the time, she lived in an assisted living place, but like she did a lot of stuff herself. She really liked McDonald's. But when she was buried with McDonald's fries in a bright pink coffin with a can of Dr. Pepper, wearing her favorite jacket and a McDonald's t-shirt. Or a Dr. Pepper t-shirt. One of the 2. She loves them both.
That's the way I want to go out.
That's the way I want to go out too. I've never seen a bright pink dolphin. I've never seen a bright pink dolphin. I've never seen a bright pink coffin that wasn't like a baby coffin. So I loved it though. I was like, this is so cute. But well, after I was finished crying. But anyway, when she only started living assisted living when she got older. But when she was younger, she lived in the house that my dad has now. That like all of the stories with, like before happened, and that I've always thought was super haunted. And in the smallest room was like kind of the nursery. It has Looney Tunes wallpaper all over it and stuff. And so that's why we call it nurseries. It was our nurseries. But that was her room. And she was like 15 to 10 years old at this time. I'm not really sure what her age was. But she couldn't read super well, but she could read like basic stories. And she really liked Dr. Seuss. And there was a particular corner in this room. And this room has 5 corners. Because it has kind of like a weird like L shape. Mm-hmm. And she would sit on her bed. And every single corner in this room, from the corner that she would read from one corner. And she could see every single corner, but she'd zero in on one specific corner. And there's no reason to zero in on this corner, but she would. And she would read to it. And when my grandma, who was her adopted mother, asked what she was reading to, she would always be like, I'm reading to the angels. Which is so cute and sweet. Until I was a kid, and that was my room. And I'm sitting there, and I also really like Dr. Seuss. I also really like Nancy Drew. And like there's this one series of books about like European murder from like the Queen and stuff. And it was not for kids, but it was really good. And it happened all the way to like 8 to like 10, which that age was about the same emotional maturity as her 10 to 15. And I would sit in the same corner and face the exact same corner and read to it all the time. And finally my mom was like, Ramsey, who are you reading to? Like in your imaginary friend? And I was like, no, Mom, I'm reading to the angels. And no one ever told me that story. And my mom didn't think anything of it. And so she told my dad later that night, she's like, oh, blah, blah, blah happened. And my dad was like, what the fuck? What? And my mom was like, why are you freaking out? And my dad was like, that's what Barbara would do. She would read to that exact corner and she would read to the angels. So I don't know if we were actually reading to like demons or she was reading, or we were reading angels. I don't really remember it. I do know I have a little bit more, I'm like a sensitive, and people that have the condition that Barbara had tend to be seen as more sensitive to the paranormal. Mm-hmm. So maybe we were reading to angels. I don't know, that'd be really cool. And my second story also has to do with angels. My dad, when he was younger, my grandma went to work really early. And my grandma, my dad, and my Uncle Travis, who's like 2-3 years younger than my dad, both lived with my grandma's parents. And they would go to work really early too. So everyone would wake my grandpa and my dad up when they went to work. And then my dad would feed and clothe my Uncle Travis, and then they'd sit on the couch. And then when the grandfather clock went off, they'd wake up and then walk to school. And my dad was sitting on the couch once, and he was kind of miserable. Like, at the time, he's not like a 15-year-old or anything. He's like 10 at most. And he's sitting there with his little brother that he's in charge of, and he's just kind of like, oh, this fight sucks. I'm the poorest kid here. I'm the only kid with divorced parents. I'm the only Mexican in this entire school besides my brother. I'm the only kid, the only other person in that school that had divorced parents was his little brother. Mm-hmm. So, like, he was just, like, sitting there all sad, and he looked over, and he swears by it. He's like, it's kind of like me with the man that I saw, except less terrifying, where I swear I wasn't asleep. And he looks over and he sees in between, there's like a little bit of room in between the corner of the wall and the bureau, like the fancy dishes and stuff that you can't eat on, even though you own them for some reason. And it's sitting in there. China. Yeah, and it's sitting in there. The nice China, the attitude. Sitting in that corner is a little angel, like its little wings, except it's like, my dad always said, it was 10 times more terrifying than like the actual, like the normal, like drawings and stuff of angels. Which is, like, if you read the Bible, there's many different descriptions of angels, and they're all horrifying. Some of them, they have 5 heads. Terrifying. But he's like, it looked horrifying, but I just knew I was safe. And I went to sleep. And that entire day just felt, like, blessed, and he, like, felt better from there on. And he's like, while it looked like a terrifying being full of scars and, like, weird shape, and, like, you can't even describe it, it made him feel safe for some reason. He thought he was a little kid. So... if that was an angel too, that'd be pretty cool.
I just remember another story that's not about angels.
Tell it. I'm out of stories. Well, that I wrote down.
So this one isn't on my list that I wrote down. But it's at my mom's house. the house that they live in with the ghost cat and the mouse in the wall and my Aunt Anne and the angels. Just all this shit happened in the same house in the past like
That sounds like such a good
5
house.
years. And my mom was, so if you go downstairs in our basement, if you're going down the steps and you turn to the left, it's my brother and my...
Is this a story about the closet?
No.
You should tell that story too.
If you turn to the left, it's my brother's room, my room, and there's a bathroom. And then if you turn to the right, it goes into another like big room, and my stepdad called it his man cave. It's his man cave.
And we called it that.
But he never goes down there. I don't know why he calls it the man cave. And then off that is another little room, and it has our washer and dryer, and it's our laundry room, and then like this water heater and everything's in there too. And my mom, when we go down there, we usually turn on the light when you first get down the steps, the light in the big room, and then light in the laundry room, especially when Ghost Cat and everything was happening, because every light needed to be on in the house. And my mom was down there, and she's putting laundry in like the washer and moving stuff to the dryer and like doing stuff, and like out of the corner of her eye, she saw like a tall figure walk into like the doorway and turn off the light, and she thought it was my stepdad because he's like 6 foot, and
he has a fun mustache.
Yeah, and a big beard. But so she thought it was my stepdad, and she was like, "Patrick, don't turn the light off on me. I'm down here." And then he just like disappeared up the steps. So she was like, "Hey, I'm still down here," but then like he never came back or anything, and no one turned the light back on. So she like finished putting the laundry in the washer and like closed the lid and like closed the door and everything, and like stormed upstairs and was like, "Why would you turn the light off on me, Patrick?" And my brother was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like sitting on the couch, and she was like, "Patrick, he turned the light off on me downstairs. Why would he do that?" My brother was like, "Patrick's been outside for the past like 2 hours." My mom was like, "What?"
I just imagine your brother thinking that your mom's crazy.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Patrick's been outside. You're pretty crazy, bitch.
He was like, "What?" But and then the tapping in the closet that she's talking about happened in the big main room.
The man cave.
The man cave. We had a giant TV down there and like an entertainment center and stuff, and I would watch Netflix off of our Wii down there. Like the rest of my family would be upstairs, and they would watch Netflix and do stuff, and I would go downstairs and I would watch Netflix by myself and crochet on the couch. But we have a set, like a really old sectional that's like plaid and stuff, and I'd be sitting in like the corner of the sectional.
Think Roseanne.
Yeah. And then behind the couch there's one door that goes out to like a shed. And then there's another door that's a closet. And then, like, the shelves come, like, all the way up to the door. And, like, the closet's, like, packed full. And I was sitting there, and I was watching, I think I was probably watching, like, Bones or, like, Modern Family or something like that. Modern Family's not even on Netflix. How I Met Your Mother.
Something weird.
Something
you were
weird.
messaging me, like, kind of while it was, like, at the end of while it was happening, and then afterwards. And I was like, bitch, murder house now, right now.
So I was sitting on the couch, and I was crocheting or something. And I heard in the closet, like, tapping, and it started off, like, really light, and then it got really, like, hard, and then it got, like, really frantic. Oh, knock the camera down.
It's that tapping. It's the demon being like, bitch, I'll tap as hard as I want.
And then it was, like, really frantic tapping, and then I'm pretty sure I said, like, hello or something like that, because I didn't...
I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
Because, like, I didn't know if it was coming from, like, the door into the shed or whatever, and I didn't know if there was, like, someone out there, and then it just stopped. And I was like, fuck! And I refused to watch shows down there for a long time after that.
Well, I remember after it happened, I was like, because there'd be, like, a cat in there, because there'd be, like, a mouse, and you sent me a picture of the closet. And it was, like,
It's, like,
full of stuff, so, like, here's the stuff, and here was the door.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, there was, like, the bottom was, like, a bunch of tubs, and then the rest of it were, like, smaller tubs, and it was just full, like, packed full. There could be... And we barely ever closed that either. It was more like storage.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was no way a cat could have gotten stuck in there.
And, like, a mouse isn't gonna fucking tap on the door like, hey!
Let me out!
Oh, I hate that. Your house is horrifying.
Yeah.
At my dad's, there's not, like, you have a lot of straight up horror stories at your freaking mom's house. At my dad's, it's kind of like you just don't feel alone. Like,
Well, at my mom's house, we didn't feel alone, but we also...
stuff actually happens. Oh, you didn't just feel insane the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'd run up the stairs. There's stairs from the basement up, and there's stairs from the main floor to the second floor. And, when you run, especially the basement ones, when you run up sometimes, it would sound like someone was, like, running behind you, and then you stop and listen for a second. But then it would stop. So you'd be like, am I just fucking crazy? I think I'm fucking crazy. And, like, my sisters are 6 and 7 years older than me, but they would play hide and seek with me sometimes. And we have a lot of really good hiding places. Like, we have the cold room. We have a secret secondary like closet in the cool room that like you have to take out a piece of false wall like of that fake wood, and then there's like a giant storage area which I don't think anyone's been in like at least 5 years. It probably looks horrifying. And then it like goes down a little bit and it's like this giant like really long open closet. And in my other sister's bedroom, the middle sized room, there's a giant walk-in closet, and then there's a second small door in the end, and it's like it's like the exact same closet again, except you have to go through this tiny door to get there. And it's like out of a horror movie. And then in the basement behind like this thing we have that holds clothes, if you open the clothes you can see another door, and like there's like a Harry Potter thing under the stairs. And then in the my basement's kind of split into two parts, where one part has like a shower and laundry stuff and like a giant freezer, like dog kennels, and the other half has workout equipment, but there's like a wall between them. And in the back of it, that's false wood. And if you take that down, it's just full of shelves and like tiny little window strips into our backyard. Because about basement windows, that was just like a teensy bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side of that part is two closets that are the same wood as the walls, and they have tiny little handles that if you don't see, you wouldn't think there's a closet there. So there's great places to hide. But I hated playing hide and seek until that was like the only game that I played, because I'd always feel like I sit there for a second, I'd be like, I'm gonna fucking win. I always forget about this place. And then all of a sudden I'd feel something like standing next to me or sitting next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, I'm gonna fucking die. please get me. I want to lose. And then sometimes I would just walk out and be like, my leg cramped. Just little stuff. Just little feelings like you're gonna die.
I remember at my mom's house, though, when all this stuff was happening, we tried not to talk about it or anything in the house, because then the thing would be like, oh, you're talking about me. And it would, like, knock shit down, like, in the bathroom, like, knock shampoo bottles down in, like, the shower, and, like, it would, like, knock stuff over, like, in the kitchen and stuff while we were talking about it.
Yeah, if she wanted to tell me a story of something that happened, and we were, like, heading to her house, we would sit in the car if we got there and finish the story before.
Because if I said anything at all about it in the house, stuff would happen for like hours on end after that. Like it would just keep knocking stuff over.
I think while it was happening, I accidentally said something. Everyone gave me the death glare, and I was like, "I'm sorry, it was a joke."
Well, because when my Aunt Anne came into town, we were talking about it, and we were all sitting around the dining room table, and it was before all this stuff started happening. My stepdad was a skeptic. And didn't believe like any of that stuff, and he was like, "There's no way." And like when me and my brother would watch like
Shane from BuzzFeed,
when me and my brother would watch like Ghost Adventures and stuff, he was like, "That's so fake. They totally made that up." And he was sitting on the couch, and we were like talking about it, and then finally he was like, "Guys, I think you guys need to stop talking about it." And we were like, "Why?" And he went, "Because something just breathed in my ear." And he said it was like a giant sigh, like something went like
Can you guys
right
shut the
into
fuck
his ear. So. Yep. So we just kind of stopped talking about it, and then my Uncle Sean said prayer. My mom sages all the time. So now there's nothing happens in the house, and actually doesn't feel like there's actually.
That sucks. So now I have no reason to sleep in there. But just glad it's not demons. That Parker's safe.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Well, there was with my mom's closet. I just remember this. My mom's closet was a portal. It was a portal? That just sounds fucking
just
terrifying.
Casual. I'm Bobby Mackey's music rolled is my house. It's fine.
Parker, because if you go down our hallway, there's the bathroom and the middle sister's room, and then a closet, and then at the very end is like the master bedroom. That was my mom and my stepdad's room. And Parker would refuse to go into the bathroom if the light was off, or if my mom or my stepdad's bedroom door was open. But she also would refuse to walk by the hallway because she could see into the room. Like when they went into the room, if they came back out, they had to close it, or she wouldn't walk by the hallway unless someone else came with her, or you turned the light on in the hallway. So either we had to leave the light on all the time, or we had to close their door. And someone always had to walk into the bathroom because she wouldn't go by herself.
Which is quite the fucking coincidence. I would have died. I would have moved. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. This freaking sucks. I'm leaving. I don't care if it's I hit the table. That's my bad. Do we have any other ghost stories?
I think that's all of mine.
Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to tell right now.
I probably have more. I'm just blanking on them. I have too many of them.
Well, there's a ton we can tell from this apartment, but...
True.
Like the ghost cat, we don't want to talk about it and have it be like, hey.
By the way, I'm still here.
I remember, So I'm totally gonna tell something that happened in this apartment. Just a side note, we were filming. We're getting ready to film a video together for my channel. Again, link will be in the description for both our channels. And I was gonna give her fake nails, which turned out horribly. And we're going to start, and we're using this kitchen table, except we're in the kitchen, and like we're using this is on a stack of books right now, and we're using the same type of setup. And all of a sudden, a bunch of stuff started, like he was, like, moving stuff around behind us. There's a bunch of weird noises around us. And we're like, just look at, we're just trying to film a video. He's like, I want to be over yellow star. So that was fun.
Be like, oh, you're recording? Here I am.
I hope you guys enjoyed our fear.
Our fear.
The things that make us cry at night.
I really need to pee, so.
You need to pee? Well, show them your cup. Her cup of water.
This is all water, and then this is snacks.
This is her head. In comparison,
It's amazing.
I've just been drinking out of a cup.
This is $5 at Michael's.
I love Michael's. There's like a haunted Michael's somewhere.
I would only shop there.
We're gonna find a haunted Michael's and we're gonna investigate it. This is a promise. It might happen in 30 years.
I was gonna
But
say,
gonna
what if
happen.
it's in like New York or something? We don't have the money for that.
It might happen in like 30 years, but it's gonna happen.
If you subscribe to our channel so we can get some money, then it will happen.
Yeah, please. Like that's what we're gonna happen on YouTube.
Oh, true.
But people that have like 1 million subscribers aren't getting any money.
True.
Like you're not gonna make money on YouTube.
I have 6 subscribers on my channel. Please subscribe.
I don't know how many I have in my personal account.
5 of them are just me. Because one's Colby, and then 2 are you and 2 are Cody.
I don't know how many subscribers I have.
You have like 100 something.
100 something. I'm happy with that. I don't feel like actually checking.
I'm gonna.
Oh, okay. Kira's gonna check how many subscribers I have. Well, if you do want to subscribe to us, like I said, at least in the description. If you want to subscribe to Kira, you can go and click on her head. If you want to subscribe to me, click on my head.
You have 142.
I'm 142. Let's make that 150, or 200, or 2,000.
Can we make mine 10?
Yours
I'm shooting high. No, okay, so I have this thing. I'm gonna show you. It's in my bullet journal. I do bullet journal videos. If you want to get crafty, come to my channel. I just want to be able to color this circle in. 10 subscribers.
So she has a whole page.
I have a whole page all the way down to 280. That would be the best goal. But can I at least color this one in? That'd be great, guys.
Slowly but surely.
Yes.
Also, subscribe to this channel.
Yes.
We plan on posting like once a week.
So yeah, somewhere around
We are just gonna kind of make up ideas of things we can do. We have a little list right here though of podcast ideas, and there's the front, there is a back, there's a bunch more in my head and in my phone that I thought of. But if you subscribe, you can tell us what you want us to talk about.
Excuse me.
Or if you want us to stop talking, as long as you subscribe. Well, we also are going to be posting this on, I believe, SoundCloud and a couple other podcast places. So if you don't want to watch us on YouTube, even though I suggest the YouTube version.
You can listen to us while you're driving, so you don't have to.
While you're driving. We can talk you to sleep.
Well, I mean, if it's ghost stories, I wouldn't want to listen to it like right before I go to bed or anything.
I would. I've done it. It's a mistake.
Go
to sleep.
I purposely stop watching ghost stories once it starts to get that. Like, stop watching ghost things and like anything that involves ghosts when the sun starts going down.
Yeah, when the sun goes down, like, ooh, let's watch some ghost stories. Different people.
I'm like, ooh, let's watch some. How I Met Your Mother.
Let's watch some bullet journal videos.
Ooh.
A lot of them are probably going to be longer than this one. This one was about an hour. It should be a little under an hour. There should also be a second video going up either before or after this about bloopers of us trying to start this.
Because it took us 20 minutes?
Yeah. We also, as you can tell, we actually are going to edit a little bit of this because we got distracted by ambulances.
Yes.
But
the
yeah.
lights stopped a long time ago.
Yeah, I noticed in the middle of running stories and I almost said something.
Oh.
And I was like, I probably should stop interrupting. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I'm Ramsey.
I'm Kara.
Bye!